The body's hidden cellular cleanup system. Right now, inside your body, an extraordinary process is taking place without you even noticing. Every moment, your cells are identifying damaged or unhealthy components, including cells that could eventually become cancerous, and breaking them down for recycling. Imagine a microscopic cleanup crew moving through your body, removing worn-out parts and transforming them into fresh building blocks for healthier cells. This incredible biological process is known as autophagy, and it represents one of the body's most powerful natural defense mechanisms against disease. Scientists recognized its importance by awarding research on this process the 2016 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Many people believe that autophagy only starts after fasting for several days or following an extreme diet. However, that idea doesn't tell the whole story. As you'll discover, there are several lesser-known ways to encourage this natural recycling system, and some of them may be just as effective or even more effective for supporting long-term cellular health. The term autophagy literally translates to self-eating. While the name may sound unusual, the process is essential for keeping your cells healthy. Inside every cell are specialized structures responsible for monitoring its condition. Once autophagy is activated, these structures begin scanning the cell for damaged proteins, malfunctioning energy-producing components, and abnormal cellular material. Anything that is no longer functioning properly is enclosed within a protective membrane and transported to the cell's recycling center. There, these unwanted materials are broken down into basic molecular building blocks. Instead of being discarded, those materials are reused to create new, healthy cellular components, allowing the cell to repair and renew itself efficiently. This process plays an especially important role in cancer prevention. Cancer does not appear overnight. It usually begins with small cellular abnormalities that accumulate over time. If these early changes are not removed or repaired, they may eventually develop into something much more serious. Autophagy acts as one of the body's first lines of defense by identifying these early problems and eliminating them before they have a chance to progress. In simple terms, it helps maintain cellular quality and reduces the likelihood that unhealthy cells will continue developing. However, there's an important detail many people overlook. Autophagy isn't running at maximum strength all the time. Instead, it responds to specific biological signals. Unfortunately, many aspects of modern life reduce these signals, making this natural repair system less active than it could be. So how can we encourage ourselves to switch this powerful recycling process back on? According to Dr. William, the first lesser-known strategy involves something called protein cycling. Most people know that fasting encourages autophagy because it lowers insulin and activates an important energy-sensing pathway known as AMPK. But another major control system receives much less attention. Your cells constantly monitor protein availability through a pathway called mTOR. When protein intake is consistently high, mTOR tells cells to focus on growth and reproduction while suppressing autophagy. Unfortunately, many abnormal cells, including cancer cells, benefit from these continuous growth signals. Activating autophagy beyond fasting. Studies have shown that the mTOR pathway is one of the most commonly altered growth pathways in many types of cancer. When it remains highly active, cells continue receiving signals to grow instead of repairing and recycling themselves. However, when protein availability temporarily decreases, mTOR activity is reduced. This shift tells the cell to move away from growth mode and enter a repair phase by activating autophagy. During this process, accumulated cellular waste is removed and damaged components are recycled into healthy new building blocks. Research published in Cell Metabolism reported that short periods of lower protein intake were able to stimulate autophagy in a way that closely resembled the effects of calorie restriction, while also lowering mTOR activity across different tissues. The practical idea is surprisingly simple. Rather than reducing protein every day, Dr. Williams suggests choosing one day each week to eat less protein than usual. On that day, meals can focus mainly on vegetables, fruits, and whole grains with only a modest amount of protein. During the rest of the week, normal protein intake should be maintained to support healthy muscles and overall body function. The goal isn't permanent protein restriction. Instead, it's the healthy balance between days of higher and lower protein intake that may help encourage autophagy. The second lesser-known trigger involves something many people never associate with cellular health: heat exposure. When the body experiences significant heat, such as during a sauna session, it responds by activating a protective defense known as the heat shock response. As part of this response, autophagy increases to help remove proteins and cellular structures that have been damaged by heat. At the same time, special molecules called heat shock proteins are produced. These proteins help protect healthy cells while also supporting the immune system's ability to recognize abnormal ones. As autophagy clears away damaged cellular material, unhealthy cells may become easier for the immune system to detect and eliminate. This coordinated response is one reason researchers continue investigating heat exposure as a potential contributor to long-term health. A large study published in JAMA Internal Medicine observed that individuals who regularly used a sauna, between 4 and 7 sessions each week, experienced roughly a 40% lower risk of death from all causes. Researchers believe that improved cellular health, including lower cancer-related mortality, may be one factor contributing to these findings. For those who use a sauna, Dr. William recommends sessions lasting around 15 to 20 minutes at temperatures between 80 degrees C and 100 degrees C, repeated several times each week, depending on personal health and tolerance. Before moving to the next strategy, remember that autophagy is influenced by multiple lifestyle habits. While fasting receives most of the attention, research suggests that combining several healthy triggers may provide a stronger overall effect than relying on fasting alone. Natural compounds, cold exposure, and the power of sleep asterisk. The third strategy for supporting autophagy involves two naturally occurring compounds that have attracted growing scientific interest: spermidine and urolithin A. Spermidine is found in foods such as wheat germ, mushrooms, aged cheese, legumes, soybeans, and green peas. According to Dr. William, this compound helps activate autophagy by reducing the activity of an enzyme that normally limits the cell's natural recycling process. Once that restriction is lifted, cells become more efficient at clearing away damaged proteins and other unwanted materials. This is especially important because the buildup of abnormal proteins is considered one of the early warning signs of unhealthy cellular changes. By removing these damaged components, autophagy helps maintain healthier cells before more serious problems have a chance to develop. Long-term human research has also produced encouraging findings. A large prospective study that followed participants for 2 decades reported that people with higher dietary intake of spermidine experienced lower rates of cancer-related mortality compared with those who consumed less. The second compound, urolithin A, is produced in the body by beneficial gut bacteria after they process natural substances found in foods like pomegranates, walnuts, and berries. Unlike general autophagy, urolithin primarily activates a specialized process known as mitophagy, which focuses on removing damaged mitochondria, the tiny structures responsible for producing energy inside every cell. When mitochondria become damaged, they generate excessive oxidative stress and disrupt normal cellular metabolism. These unhealthy conditions may provide an advantage for abnormal cells, allowing them to survive and multiply more easily. By eliminating worn-out mitochondria, mitophagy helps restore healthier cellular function and supports the body's natural defense systems. To naturally support these processes, Dr. William recommends regularly including foods such as wheat germ, mushrooms, soybeans, green peas, pomegranates, walnuts, and raspberries as part of a balanced diet. The fourth trigger for autophagy comes from an unexpected source, cold exposure asterisk. Although heat and cold affect the body differently, both can stimulate protective cellular responses. Exposure to cold causes the body to release norepinephrine, which activates the energy-sensing pathway known as AMPK while reducing activity in the mTOR pathway. As mTOR activity decreases, cells receive fewer growth signals and shift more toward repair and recycling. This creates conditions that support autophagy and may reduce the advantage that abnormal cells depend on for continued growth. Cold exposure also strengthens the immune system by increasing the activity of natural killer cells, one of the body's primary defenses against abnormal or potentially cancerous cells. At the same time, autophagy helps expose damaged cells more clearly, making them easier for these immune cells to recognize and eliminate. Dr. Williams suggests that one of the simplest ways to practice cold exposure is to finish your morning shower with 1 to 2 minutes of cold water. While cold plunges are another option, ending a normal shower with cold water is far easier for most people to maintain consistently. Daily consistency may provide greater long-term benefits than occasional extreme cold exposure. The fifth and final lifestyle strategy is often underestimated, yet it may be one of the most important high-quality sleep asterisk. During deep sleep, autophagy becomes highly active throughout the body. This is when cells perform much of their maintenance work, clearing away damaged components and preparing tissues for the next day. Deep sleep is also a critical period for the immune system. Natural killer cells increase their surveillance, constantly searching for cells that have begun behaving abnormally. Research discussed in Nature Reviews Cancer has linked disrupted circadian rhythms, including irregular sleep schedules, night shift work, and chronic sleep deprivation, with a higher risk of developing several forms of cancer. To support a healthy biological clock, Dr. William recommends maintaining a consistent bedtime and wake-up time every day, including weekends. Keeping your schedule within roughly a 45-minute window helps reinforce your body's natural rhythm. For additional support, he notes that magnesium glycinate may help improve sleep quality and promote relaxation. He also points out that many adults worldwide do not obtain enough magnesium from their daily diet alone, making adequate magnesium intake another factor worth considering for overall health. Why combining multiple triggers matters most. Now let's return to one of the most important ideas introduced at the beginning of this video. Many people believe that extended fasting is the only effective way to activate autophagy. While prolonged fasting can certainly stimulate this natural cellular recycling process, current research suggests that it isn't the only approach, or necessarily the most practical one for everyday life. According to Dr. William, scientific evidence indicates that maintaining healthy baseline autophagy may be more effective when several lifestyle strategies work together rather than depending on fasting alone. Each of the habits discussed throughout this video supports autophagy through a different biological pathway. Protein cycling helps regulate the mTOR signaling system. Heat exposure activates the heat shock response. Spermidine and urolithin A encourage specialized forms of cellular recycling. Cold exposure stimulates AMPK while strengthening immune activity. Finally, consistent restorative sleep allows the body to carry out many of its most important repair processes. Instead of relying on a single habit, combining these strategies may create an environment where your cells can continuously repair, recycle, and maintain themselves more efficiently. Researchers estimate that nearly 45 to 50% of cancer cases are associated with lifestyle factors that can potentially be modified. While no single habit can guarantee prevention, everyday choices may significantly influence long-term cellular health and reduce the conditions that allow disease to develop. The objective is not to search for one perfect solution, but to consistently support your body's natural defense systems through healthy daily routines. If you'd like to learn more about improving metabolic health and understanding the science behind these cellular processes, Dr. William recommends exploring his free 5-day metabolic blueprint, where these concepts are explained in greater detail than can be covered in a single video. And if you found this discussion valuable, the next topic is equally important. In the following video, Dr. William examines some of the most common everyday foods that may encourage cancer cell growth and explains which dietary choices people may want to limit as part of a healthier lifestyle. You won't want to miss it.